there's nothing better than a hearty beef dish. And this one is definitely one of my favorites. It was one of those dishes that I found very, very daunting at first, but it really is quite simple if you break it down into its individual components. So today on Jay's World Kitchen, I'm going to show you how to make the most amazing braised beef short ribs. What you're going to need is 2 to 3 pounds of beef short ribs, and when you're asking your butcher, you want to ask him for something that's got a lot of meat on it. Some kosher salt, some olive oil, 2 cups of red wine to deglaze, and if you don't want to use red wine, you can just use beef stock. You're also going to need some beef stock or water, a mirepoix, which basically is 2 parts onion to 1 part of carrot and 1 part of celery. I have about 1.5 cups of onion, and some bay leaves, and finally about 2 tablespoons, maybe a little more, of tomato paste. It really is quite easy to put this together. You're going to start by covering every surface of your ribs with kosher salt. And I'm doing this the night before and popping it in the fridge to dry brine. In other words, leaving it uncovered, covered in that kosher salt. And once that's ready, the best way to do this dish is to have something like a Dutch oven, and I'm using my cast iron because we are going to put this into the oven after we finished browning our meat. And we're going to start off with just some olive oil in the bottom of our pan. You're going to want your pan and your oil quite hot because we are going to sear the outside of every piece of our meat. And once your meat is nicely seared on all 6 sides, just put it on a plate, set it aside, and turn your heat down to quite a low temperature. And we're now going to put in our mirepoix. And very simply, we're just going to put all 3 of those ingredients in together. We're going to fry them for about 8 minutes, maybe a little longer. What we really want to do is we want to make sure that the onion is becoming nice and tender and clear, as well as cooking up the carrots. And when your mirepoix is about halfway done, we're going to toss in a tiny bit more kosher salt and grind in some black pepper. And really that's to taste, so it's as much or as little as you like. And I'm just going to add in a tiny little pinch of ground coriander because I really love that flavor. Stir that all up and keep going until your onions just start to brown. And so our vegetables really have got a nice color to them all. And they're just starting to cook. You don't have to cook them all the way through. We're just trying to get them going and get some flavor in there. And now we're going to add in our roughly 2 tablespoons of tomato paste and stir that in. We're going to cook it until that tomato paste is a nice dark red, which really doesn't take very long. And really about 30 seconds after putting that in and just stirring it around, the color's gone very, very dark already. And now we're going to deglaze with about 2 cups of red wine. Oh, that smells so good. Now again, you don't have to use red wine here. You can use beef stock or just water if you prefer. And now it's time to return the meat to our pan. And what you're going to do is you're going to put it in, trying to put the bones, I'm trying to put the bones sort of vertically. And now we're going to add enough beef stock or wine or water to go about 3/4 of the way up to the top of the meat. just like that. And I'm going to pop in 2 bay leaves, maybe 3 because the one was a little small. And now you're going to 3/4 cover that with the lid, just like that. And as soon as it comes back up to a simmer, we're going to pop it into our 275-degree oven, and there we're going to leave it for at least 4 hours. Now, after those 4 hours, your meat is going to be so perfectly pull apart. And the best thing to do is to put it onto something like a polenta or rice, or in my case, I'm just doing mashed potatoes because I like mashed potatoes. But the meat is just so incredibly tender, you can pull it apart with a fork. The house smells amazing. And while this does take quite a lot of effort, it's definitely a worthwhile dish. Let's give some of this a taste. Oh man, that meat just melts away in your mouth. It is just incredible. You can definitely taste that tiny hint of tomato in there. Definitely can taste the red wine in there. But wow, is that ever good. And here's a really cool thing about this. You can put your meat into a container in the fridge. You can put your mirepoix into a separate container and serve it during the week just by reheating it in the oven for about half an hour. And it's a meal ready to go later on the week, because the longer it goes, the better. The important thing here is that those 4 hours where this meat is just at that 275 degrees, it's turning all that collagen into gelatin, and it's just making that meat amazing and tender and pull apart. If you tried this recipe, I would love to hear from you how it turned out in the comment section below. Remember too, if you enjoyed this video, to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and remember to turn on notifications so that you know when my next video drops. Remember too that you can follow me on all my social media, and those links are below in the comment section. If you would like some more dinner ideas, please check out my dinner ideas playlist right here. And until next time, happy eating.